Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
The United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, it's going to throw me under the bus. You don't want me to do it. Let's pray for a second. Good and loving God, we thank you for gathering this great group together tonight. Thanks for the beautiful weather we've had along the way. We ask you to guide us on this journey, both, with our decisions this evening and always, and certainly protect all those in this room and our community and all those service and fire, police department workers out there. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Caught me off guard. It was beautiful, man. Yeah. Denise, roll call, please.
Mr. Smolik,
Here.
Mr. Ziegler, Mr. Fenstermaker,
Here.
Ms. Grazia,
Here.
Mr. Hamer,
Here.
Mr. Lowry,
Here.
Mr. Scholes.
Okay, reading and approval of the minutes of the May 15th, 2023 work session. Need a motion?
Motion to accept.
A second?
Second.
Motion, Mr. Lowry, second. Ms. Grazia? Denise?
Mr. Smolik,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Yes.
Ms. Grazia,
Yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Lowry,
Yes.
Approval of minutes of the May 15th, 2023 council meeting. Need a motion and a second?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Oh, yeah. Discussion on it? No discussion? Ms. Grazia? Or, sorry, Ms. Grazia. Ms. Raleigh? Roll, please.
Mr. Smolik,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Yes.
Ms. Grazia,
Yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Lowry,
Yes.
Okay, department reports. Chief Hutton?
Thank you, Mr. Smolik. The monthly report was sent out today. Couple things going on with the fire department and the soon-to-be-open Cleveland Clinic Menor. Actually, on May 20th, we're going to be doing our swearing in for our captains and lieutenants early in the day, around 4:45. That'll be done. We're going to do it at the gazebo because we have a large group anticipated, so we're going to do it outside. After that's over, I'm going to go to the Cleveland Clinic Menor open house that's on the 20th. So I'll be there. I'll miss the council meeting that night, and I'll represent Kirtland and the Lake County Fire Chiefs. Later this month, Kirtland Fire Department is going to participate in a kind of a mock emergency room with them. So we're going to transport patients one day, get them set up. That's going to be one of the closer hospitals to us. So we're getting to know how the inner works of it. The EMS coordinator is going to be coming out this week doing an orientation for all three of our shifts, what they can do, what they can't do, what we should transport, what we shouldn't. So we're pretty excited about that. Also, University Hospital, they were out last week and they brought their simulation squad out and we had all three shifts go through that. Did multi-trauma cases, blood loss. We even mixed up a drug called TXA. Mr. Lowry might know about that. It's for bleeding control, something we don't give very often, but we were able to practice with that in a real situation. It was great. Firefighters this week, we're starting our hydrant testing program, so we'll be out there quite a bit. Probably see the guys out on the streets. Other than that, I'm open for any questions.
Any questions for Chief Hutton?
Isn't the new hospital going to be a level 1 trauma center?
No, the new hospital is not a trauma center at all. It's a ER. It's an extension of Hillcrest. It's only going to have 19 beds. It's a full-blown emergency room, but it's not a trauma center. Lake West is a level 3. Jog is a level 3. Hillcrest is a level 2. And our level 1s are in Cleveland, UH and Metro.
It is it's 24 hours. Yeah.
Correct. 24-hour ER.
Any other questions for the chief? Chief McAllister.
Thank you, Council President Smolik. Just a few items today. We kicked off Safety Town today. Officer DeWolf did an outstanding job with the kids. We took them through the building. She gave some presentations. Everybody went home happy. So we'll be back tomorrow to do some more with the children, and that'll run through the rest of the week with the different departments in the city. We've been invited to have a face-off with some other area agencies at a Rascal House All-You-Can-Eat Pizza Challenge. That'll be on July 12th. So 5 of our officers will be eating a slice of pizza as fast as they can to try to bring home the title, I guess. And our book collection, we probably have close to 1,000 books in the police department right now. So now we're going to be working on sourcing some bookcases to put a little bit of a display together, and hopefully start bringing the kids in to do some reading, check out some books, and start some programs for the summer. Also, you got your stats from the police department tonight. I just wanted to correct, we did not have 28 arrests last month. There was actually 15 arrests that had a total of 28 charges, criminal charges that were associated with them. And then finally, actually 2 other items. Everybody got the parking issues had been resolved up at the corner of 6 and 306. I had recommended some different legislation. I didn't hear anything back, so I'm assuming we're good as it stands with what we used. And then we potentially have a new hire. We made a conditional offer of employment to one of our lateral applicants, and hopefully pending the medical, we'll be doing a swearing in fairly soon here. And that'll conclude my report, and I'm open for any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief McAllister? Actually, which Rascal House they doing it at? Okay. Any other questions for the chief? Mr. Fenaro.
Good evening, everybody. I'm gonna be a little long-winded tonight. I got a lot of thank yous to go out. First of all, thanking our Public Works team for doing a great job transforming the city from snow into spring with the flowers, the banners, the flags. They do a great job, and you know, within weeks it turned into spring and it looks really good out there. So thank you to our team. I want to thank the mayor, the Kiwanis, the Legion. Please, if I forget somebody, I'm sorry. The Garden Club for helping out with the veterans cleanup and mulching City Hall, planting our Tree City USA tree. It started off pretty rainy, but it turned out to be a great day. And also, Public Works Week Open House turned out to be a great event again, with the help of police, fire, Teresa, some volunteers, the seniors, council, and the mayor for showing up. Mr. Hamer came in a close second. He almost had it in the truck rodeo, but he ran over a cone. You had it until you hit that cone. You were good. So, and on a side note, the blue tractor made one round of roadside mowing on all the main roads. We're starting the side roads now. We're going to need a couple weeks because we have to put a master cylinder into the tractor. So we'll be back on grass in a couple weeks. That completes my report.
Anything else? Any questions for Mr. Fenaro? Thank you. Mr. Courtney?
Thank you very much. The bid opening for the road program will be tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. So fingers crossed on that. We'll have bids reviewed, tabulated, and we'll have a recommendation for award of contract or contracts, depending on how it plays out, for the June 20th meeting. So more to come on that. Old Town sewer improvements. Contractor completed the sewer main installation on Eisenhower and from the end of Eisenhower up to Elm, and he's begun the main line installation on Elm. He'll be completing lateral connections on Eisenhower this week and next. Several concerns related to the project were communicated to Joe and I over the weekend, including dust control, potential interference with the Strawberry Festival, and the condition of the Eisenhower pavement. I talked to the county several times today on a lot of that. They're going to bring the dust control issue back up to the contractor and try and stay a little more on top of that. For the Strawberry Festival, the contractor is going to use the 15th, which is Thursday, as a cleanup day to get everything buttoned up and cleaned up. No work on Friday the 16th or through the weekend. And as practically as possible, he's going to be consolidating and storing all his equipment kind of out of the way. So Joe and I walked the Eisenhower pavement today to review the current conditions. The half of the pavement that did not get excavated for the sewer is seeing quite a bit of distress. So Joe and I have requested a meeting with the county to kind of look at what our options might be there. And so more to come on that. Fox Hill drainage improvements. Construction is complete with the exception of replacing a couple of the castings on the storm structures off the end of the cul-de-sac. Contractor still has not gotten those castings in, so as soon as he does, he'll get those installed. And we'll be preparing a final adjusting change order for that project for the June 20th meeting as well. The Monterey water main project is complete. The water main and services are all installed, and the new main is in service. This week is going to be dedicated to restoring the landscape and the pavement, with the pavement work happening on Wednesday. And the contractor should be completely off the site by the middle of next week. And that's all I have. Happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Courtney?
Doug, the sewer project, I assume the contractor is responsible for only the road that they dig up. And I think what you're just saying is the other side, the other half is kind of getting beat up. Is that because of their equipment, or is that just because the road has been, in its last days?
Yeah, Joe and I were talking about that this morning, and I think contractor could probably be a little better about staying off of that section of pavement, but it's kind of difficult at times when you've got your work zone there and folks parked on the side of the road and going around things. But those are all things we're going to talk about with the county.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would like, we spoke about that. I would like to see Monterey completed on both sides, even if it has, city has the funds to do that. So otherwise we're going to have a half and half over there, correct?
Yeah, I think the plan is to have Monterey on the program next year.
Exactly.
So.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Courtney? Mr. Lallo.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just a couple things that I've been working on. So there was an administrative appeal of the planning and zoning decision on the denial of a permit for a secondary structure. So that's been filed in Lake County, and Ms. Raleigh was kind enough to compile all of those records and recordings. We've gotten them transcribed, and she provided me with all the documents. I've had to print all the documents. We're getting those filed with the court tomorrow. Just proceeding with that appeal process. And then secondly, the mayor asked me to take a look at the records retention policy with the city, and I think I mentioned it to you at the last meeting. I've gone through all of that, and I have kind of what we want as the model records retention policy with the state, and some other additional breakdowns as well. I'm going to ask the mayor to set a meeting with the Records Retention Commission for the city, which is a statutorily created group. So it consists of the mayor, the finance director, the law director, and one person that the mayor appoints. They're actually supposed to meet once every 6 months, and I know in my 3 years, but I think for the last at least a decade, I don't think there's been a commission that's been really set up and has met. So we're going to try to get that going. But what we need to do, and I'm going to ask the mayor to take a look at this, is to send these model records retention policies off to all the department heads, have them review it, make sure that there's no other issues on their end, or if they want something longer or whatever it might be. And then if they sign off, then we could send it off to the state and the Ohio Historical Commission as well. for their approval of our record retention policy. Once that happens, then we can start implementing it, do an inventory, and then from there, we can start really just following through on that policy. So that's something that's going to be coming down the pipe. It has nothing to do with council. It's just something to do with the city and the inner workings of the city. Secondly, there is an amendment or legislation. It's 23R43. I don't know if council has had an opportunity to review that. That is part of the policies and procedures that the city has been undertaking for probably the last 18 months or so, I think, with Lexipol, and that it really sets forth pretty detailed policies throughout the entire city for every person or employee that kind of interacts with the city. There's a policy addressing it, and one of those is conduct of council, essentially, or aspirational goals or policies that council would be beholden to. The thought was, if we're implementing all of these policies, we want to make sure that there's something also addressing council. Ask that you all take a look at it, and then because it is addressing you, we figure that it would be best for council to adopt that policy. So it's up for the first reading today. There's really no rush on getting it approved immediately, but I do ask that you take a look at that. If you have questions regarding it, feel free to reach out to me.
Mr. Lallo, pertaining that, is it complete to where you want right
Yes.
now? Are you going to need beyond 3 readings to complete on your end, or
No.
you pretty much got it buttoned up?
No, that's
Okay.
we've gone through this ad nauseum, like every line, every detail. We've gone through it. Ms. Zeri has been fantastic with that, with all the departments, and really just going through it. So
It
yeah,
is interesting that I read through it. It's interesting that there was nothing on the books like that before,
no,
in any document that we have
no,
currently.
there for most departments there is nothing on the book. I mean, like police and fire, they have their own internal policies and procedures. I know Mr. Fernaro had his, but really there's nothing that covers the city as a whole. So
Outside of the
it's
charter,
nice-
outside of what's in the charter, that's good.
the charter, the ordinances, exactly. So it's nice to have something that would be formalized, and it's been vetted by this Lexipol agency nationally and statewide as well, and they update fairly regularly. So it's a nice policy that we've really been able to go through and look forward to implementing it in the very near future.
The other question is there anything in our charter that would contradict what's being said in this?
No.
There's nothing.
No.
You vetted that?
No, it's yeah, exactly. It's just best policies and procedures. Their best practices is policy 101, which you would be subject to.
Well, figure on letting that go 3 readings. Recommend the rest of council look through that very well. Forward any questions to myself and Mr. Lallo. That needs to be changed,
Correct.
and we'll look at going at that the 3rd reading then.
Good question. So the first thing you talked about, was that outbuilding that was
It was like a
huge in size?
yes. It was like a garage barn
Yep. Thank you.
on I think on Singlefoot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any questions for Mr. Lallo? Ms. Zeri? Any updates for the community center, senior center?
No official report tonight. I know that all the seniors are looking forward, as they do every year, to the Strawberry Festival. Hopefully we can beat the fire department in trivia this year. We haven't yet, but we'll see. And I know they're looking forward to seeing each and every one of you in the dunk tank. So if anyone has any questions, I am open to them.
Any questions for Ms. Zeri? Thank you, Ms. Zeri. Mayor Potter?
Thank you, Council President Smolik. If you didn't know or hadn't heard or forgot, this week is City of Kirtland's free admission week to Holden Arboretum. So that was part of that grant that we had sent a letter of endorsement to last year. Holden did get that grant for some infrastructure work. And as part of that, the City of Kirtland annually will get all of our residents will get 1 free week of admission. So if you haven't been up to Holden lately, I would definitely highly suggest trying to capitalize on that offering this week. Safety Town is in full force, as the Chief McAllister mentioned. thanks to I think there's 35 high school students that have come over to offer their time this week to work as counselors. Thanks as always to my wife for running as a volunteer. Safety Town last night at about midnight, we were still putting packets together for this morning's activities. This morning at 7:30, she was up here putting final touches on, paint touches on the schoolhouse out back. So thank you to her as always, and thanks to Denise and Chris and Lisa, and then everybody over on our police side that has to endure a little bit more activity throughout the week, and maybe some yells and cheers and screams. So thanks to all of you that are helping out with that this week. Arbor Day, thanks to Mr. Finaro for making that a big hit, getting our tree planted out front. Public Works Week, it was dynamite. Joe's efforts and his family's efforts and the department's efforts, and we had firemen up there cooking hamburgers, hot dogs. So thanks to everybody that came up. Thanks to our public that came out to see all of the trucks and the equipment up at the service department. There was a big inflatable dump truck that I think was probably about as big a hit as anything. I think Mr. Finaro was wrong, though. If we went back and reviewed the tape, I bet I was second in the rodeo as opposed to Mr. Hamer, but you can't run over a cone. As we mentioned during the work session before, Jim Davis, 23-R-40, is our appointee or my appointee. And I'm asking council and recommending to council for the Board of Zoning Appeals. That board, since Ms. Grazia's appointment to the city council, that position is open. So I'd like to get that filled. And if you can tonight, please waive the 3 readings on that one. We had a good substantive discussion with Mr. Slapnicker prior to this meeting again in the work session, going over the appropriation amendment. As Mr. Slapnicker mentioned, not only are our revenues strong, but we've seen a couple of upticks in our. So we had a reimbursement from RITA, which was significant, as well as some a little bit better than projected on the income tax side as well. So anyhow, the money's there to support it, I guess, is the main thing, but also to get a couple of these pieces of equipment back up and running is pretty important to the service department. I would also ask that the Freightliner plow truck get passed, waive the 3 readings tonight. This was budgeted for. City Council had budgeted $260,000, or we had budgeted and council passed $260,000 as part of the original appropriation. But this formalizes, I think this comes in at about $258,000 for that new truck. So this is giving us the authorization, the city the authorization to go ahead and purchase that plow truck, much needed plow truck. Other than that, I am open for questions. I probably forgot somebody or something. Oh, Memorial Day. Fantastic display out there. Thanks to the Legion, thanks to the Quanians that helped before that, thanks to the Scout troops, thanks to the Kirtland High School Band, thanks to Lieutenant Fisher, who really gave a tremendous talk, really put Memorial Day in context in terms of what it's supposed to mean, and what it does mean, and the origins of it. So thanks to Lieutenant Fisher for that too. Now I'm really open for questions.
Thank you, Mayor Potter. Any questions from council for the mayor? Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Okay, standing committee reports. Any standing committee reports? I have, actually, Denise, I have the service department committee report typed up. I forgot to send that to you yesterday. To that point, Mr. Fernaro wants to set up one for June 12th before the 6 o'clock, before the planning and zoning meeting, service committee meeting. That would be Mr. Hamer, Mr. Fenstermaker, and myself. Anything else with the standing committees? Mm-mm. Any correspondence? Denise, I didn't see any correspondence. Was there any more? Okay. Thank you. Any public comments on matters not on the agenda? We open it up to the residents. State your name, address.
Josh Hayes, 8056 Springer Drive. I was just wondering if there was an update or if anyone had any information on would that be the northwest corner, 6 and 306 property? Where that is in the process, what we know, what we don't know, when it's going before zoning and planning. or anything.
Property facing 306, actually addressed at 306, or is that on
So
Springer?
the corner, no, on the corner intersection is 6 and 306. It'd be the northwest corner.
06, oh,
The,
gotcha.
the Mills property.
Oh, no,
That's it.
okay, sorry.
So I do know,
Question.
no, thanks, Mr. Hayes. There is a purchase agreement in place with a healthcare institution or facility. I know they had planned on potentially being at planning and zoning here in June to kind of present the conceptual review. I don't think that'll be the case after talking to the realtor the other day, so it might be July now. But nonetheless, there is a tentative deal in place.
Anything else, Josh? Any other questions? None at this time. Old business? None at this time. New business? Any public comments on agenda items or new business? And a new business. Resolution number 23R-40, resolution confirming the appointment of James A. Davis to the Board of Zoning Appeals and declaring an emergency. I believe we
Motion to waive the 3 readings.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Denise?
Mr. Smolik,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Yes.
Ms. Grazia,
Yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Lowry,
Yes.
Okay. then we
Motion
need
to declare an emergency and adopt.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Denise?
Mr. Smolik,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Yes.
Ms. Grazia,
Yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Lowry,
Yes.
Okay, ordinance number 23-0-41, an ordinance amending ordinance number 23-0-10 relating to the appropriations for the year 2023. Any discussion or comments? And we'd like to,
Motion to waive the 3 readings.
and there's no emergency on this one, we just,
Correct.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Lowry,
Second.
second by Ms. Grazia. Comments? Ms. Rowley?
Mr. Smolik,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Yes.
Ms. Grazia,
Yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Lowry,
Yes. Motion to adopt.
Second.
Richard Sue? Any questions? Comments? Denise?
Mr. Smolik,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Yes.
Ms. Grazia,
Yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Lowry,
Yes.
Okay, on to resolution number 23-R-42, a resolution adopting a tax budget for fiscal year 2024. We'll let that one go to second reading at least, Mayor. Okay, and then resolution number 23-R-43, a resolution ratifying and adopting policy 101 addressing standards of conduct for elected officials and declaring an emergency. Once again, we just discussed that before. We're going to let that go 2-3 readings. More new business, ordinance number 23-0-44, an ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service to enter into a contract to purchase one Freightliner plow truck from Concord Road Equipment Manufacturing and declaring an emergency.
Motion to waive the 3 readings.
Second.
Rich and Ms. Grazia. Any questions or comments? Ms. Rowley?
Mr. Smolik,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Yes.
Ms. Grazia,
Yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Lowry,
Yes.
Need a motion?
Yeah, motion to declare an emergency and adopt.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Ms. Rowley?
Mr. Smolik,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Yes.
Ms. Grazia,
Yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Lowry,
Yes. Go get that truck, Joe.
Thank you, everyone.
What's best case delivery you think on that? You think that's
I think I would say a couple weeks.
okay, great, fantastic.
Just in time for snow.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Kidding.
You'll have to take the plow out right away. Okay, and finally come to resolution number 23-R-45, a resolution amending resolution number 22R-79 relating to establishing standing committees of council and declaring an emergency.
Yeah, there's no reason to, we have to, hold on, this way we can.
Well, in case we
So
need-
long as there's no standing committee meeting that's scheduled between now and the next one.
we may as-
So actually, you do have a standing committee that's going to be meeting before the planning and zoning meeting, right?
Yeah, that's service.
Is that one changing?
I stayed on that one. I stayed on that one, so that'll
So
be
if
the
that one's
reason
not
change.
changing, then
Correct.
it could go to the next meeting.
You want to let it go too then, or do you want to go?
I'm okay, I'm okay. I make a
When is
motion,
our next
I make a
meeting?
motion to waive 3 readings.
Okay.
Yep.
Britton Soup. Any questions, comments? Ms. Rowley?
Mr. Smolik,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Yes.
Ms. Grazia,
Yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Lowry,
Yes. Motion to declare an emergency and adopt.
A second.
That's Rich and then Ms. Grazia for second.
Scott's pretty quiet there.
Any questions, comments? Ms. Rowley?
Mr. Smolik,
Yes.
Mr. Fenstermaker,
Yes.
Ms. Grazia,
Yes.
Mr. Hamer,
Yes.
Mr. Lowry.
Yes.
Okay, council comments? Any council comments for matters not on the agenda? Come on, Ryan, you don't got any comments for us today?
Hold on, hold on.
Okay, no comments. Any continuing concerns? Sorry, for the public, any continuing concerns, questions from the public? Thank you. Okay, motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.